Hola Madridistas, welcome back to crisis episode. Let's call it the crisis episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Hope you guys have been doing good because we know for a fact that the team hasn't been helping. The mental state of its supporters in any manner. But a new year, I thought the new year would bring in some much needed luck, much needed turn of form, much needed uptick in results, but it has seldom been the case all throughout post the World Cup. But before we get into it, welcome the esteemed panel, Jacob and Farouk. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys been holding up well. Yeah.
Yeah,
You could say that.
it's been a frustrating couple of days or weeks, rather, but then yeah, it is what it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So today we are gonna try and discuss how to break down what has been, a recurring theme in all great Carlos teams. Combination of fatigue, mental exhaustion, just probably being second best without the ball for prolonged periods, even against mediocre opposition, uh, genuinely takes its toll on players. Farouk was a big advocate of our playing style lacking a clear identity last season, and something genuinely happened. Post February, Farouk, we all remember like how pessimistic we were about our chances, especially in the Champions League. But somehow, the magic of Karim Benzema and Vinicius pulled us through. But the signs, unfortunately, this time around doesn't look, as comforting. Doesn't look as solid like the year before. If we rewind it back to a year, we had a similar slump in form around this time. Like even without the World Cup, loss away at Espanyol, if I remember, which stung. Which wasn't ideal. Like that was the tipping point for me. I remember, but there have been like way too many, tipping points this time around. Add add the World Cup in Qatar to the mix. It's a very toxic combination. Um, let's get into it without wasting much further time. Yeah. So all of us, the guys on the panel, like we decided, like we're gonna break it down into like four segments and kind of go and try and understand like what has been going wrong with this great side. Let's not get it twisted. This is a great side. It might not back the Galacticos, or it might not back the best players in their positions in Europe, but it still is a very good side. Won a historic double, under a year ago. So there is quality. Clearly, there is quality there, but something doesn't seem to just tick at the moment. So the four segments is going to be midfield, wing backs, the attack, and obviously Don Carlo. So let's start with the midfield. Um, who wants to tackle midfield first?
So I mean, we can discuss the midfield, but the thing, I just want to firstly address is the fact that, we sit here and we just, everyone, I don't know, or most of the people at least that I heard have discussions with, anybody, goes pinpoint the fact that, oh, like Chouameni is missing and Chouameni is here, Chouameni isn't there. But I just like to draw them back to the fact that, even Chouameni's last appearance was shambolic. He was hauled off after 60 minutes because it was just pure garbage. The point right now is about the fact that, honestly, like, there's too much miles in the leg of in the legs of Luka Modric right now. And Toni Kroos is just not a holding midfielder. This is just he's not a lone pivot. I mean, even during his pomp, he wasn't.
He just can't do the
exactly it's the end of his career, so it's not just gonna happen, That's the thing. It's not just gonna happen. And Kamavinga is so rash and so young that asking him to do so much in such a little time also, it's unfair as well to him, you know. And then it's left with who? No one. It's Dani Ceballos. Or I don't know, but I just feel like, you know, people will also would like to, you know, oh, this and that, that person, this person. I mean, these are the teams we have, and this is what has worked for us, you know, in the past couple of years. But what we just have to see right now is that even players like Valverde, you know, like that intensity, that aggressiveness, you know, that winning back of the ball, that pressing, you know, it's no longer there. It's gone. And I could recall, I know before the World Cup, like we were saying, oh, like people have their minds on the World Cup, people have their minds on the World Cup. That's why they are not playing. I mean, the World Cup has been over for a month now. So where are these guys still?
Yeah. If I like, I've always been a strong advocate of, like our team genuinely just slamming the brakes, pulling the handbrakes on, like for the times, like time period between, like, say, November to, whenever the knockouts begin. It has always been the case all throughout, me following Real Madrid. But you add the World Cup to the mix, you just don't have the energy to, kickstart it again. Like, the juice is sadly not there, especially when core players like Modric has been playing the amount of minutes he has been playing. um it becomes an uphill battle to actually ask him to do much. And, like, you made some great points, Farooq. Chouameni has been great, but in my opinion, I think post the World Cup, when he came back, like, I don't think he had much left in him to, give out the performances he had, pre World Cup. Um, and look at him now, like, he's struggling with fitness, and hopefully him coming back is gonna glue things together. That's what the board hopes is gonna happen. Um, but like I said, like, it's not so easy to, like, regain that sharpness, especially like after the World Cup. And
But then, what do you say to Fede Valverde then? He went out in the first round of the World Cup. He literally had 3 weeks of break. I mean, Chouameni, hats off, respect. I have literally nothing to say to the man. Luka
mm,
Modric, I have nothing to say to the man. But what do you say to Kamavinga? Kamavinga was just sitting on the bench for the whole France journey, man.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, Fede was at the World Cup, exited in the first round. So
Mm.
what do you say to these guys? What battery do they do to recharge? They've gotten enough rest.
It's
What's the excuse
with,
then?
with Fede's thing, from what I read on Twitter, especially, and on our subreddit. It seems like he has some personal issues going on. At least that's what his wife posted on Instagram. So, like, there's something genuinely, like, not right behind the scenes for Fede. I think that's the thing that has been holding him back. And let's be honest. Before the World Cup, when everybody was kind of in cruise mode and not really, pushing it, it was Fede's rockets that saved us. Like,
I know that, but the thing is, that's why I'm actually pinpointing Fede Valverde is that because 4 games before the World Cup, Fede was
yeah.
garbage. 4 games before the World Cup.
Mm,
I can't recall the exact numbers, but I know it's about the game around Leipzig and a couple of games before the World Cup in the league as well. Fede
yeah.
Valverde was garbage in those games.
Mm, mm,
Pure, utter garbage. You can go back and check that. So it's not like
yeah.
it's something that happened, you know, post World Cup. Yeah, I know, like we had a month where literally like Fede was just shooting from 30 range, and that was the way we were, running out and with the victories and one way or another. I know that. But 3, 4 games before the World Cup started, his performance dropped to a whole new low.
Mm,
And after the World Cup, it's just been similar. Obviously, I mean, if the man has some personal issues of the field that is bothering him, obviously, like, I mean, all
yeah.
respect to that, and you have to, we're all human beings, so we have to, pay respect to that, and hopefully hope that he resolves it as soon as possible, and
Making a segue into that, Jacob, like, do you think Carlo has been deploying him in inconsistent positions, like, all throughout his tenure with us, that he kind of seems to second guess what he needs to do next? You see him tucking inside way too much and kind of being the fourth man in midfield, which has helped us a lot, which genuinely made us win the double last season. But this season, it seems like he doesn't know what to do. Like, do you agree with it, Jacob?
Okay, there's a reason for that, right? So last season, whenever Fede tucks in, there was always
Yeah.
someone else to go ahead and fill his space that he leaves
Mm.
behind.
Danny
But
Carvajal. Yeah.
Danny Carvajal used to do that, but this season Danny can't do it, man. Like he's pretty
Mm.
much on his last legs.
Mm.
You saw the run that Balde had against Carvajal. Like there was a clear indicators to see how the different levels
He
are
was with.
between these
He
two
was with.
fullbacks.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine like how he was being let, like run riot like that. Because Carlo clearly should have done something. Like he could see, like all of us, that Danny Carvajal couldn't keep up with Barca's left hand side. But
Exactly.
yet there was no measures taken.
Exactly, and one more reason is like usually Luka Modric also on the right side. He tends to press high up whenever Valverde tucks back or covers
Yeah.
Carvajal. But this
Yeah.
season, like as we all know, like Modric is also really really tired. Carlo is not gonna start against the
He started
important.
off very, very well. Remember, like Modric was on fire the first 2 months. He was exceptional, exceptional, standing ovation after standing ovation. But like overplaying a man who's 38 soon is insane. It's
Exactly.
insane. Like I don't know what the board expects. I don't know what Carlo expects. Um, like like we could have sorted this out when we had the chance, at least last summer. Like someone not high profile like Bellingham, at least a stopgap, because we always knew that this midfield, including Casemiro, is not sustainable. And it's not down to their quality or like game intelligence or anything. It's just down to athleticism and the age. It's not a joke. It's not a joke, especially with the World Cup, World Cup year alongside it. Like it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And yeah, like brilliant points. Fede clearly benefited from that help, overlapping or underlapping, when facing specific opposition. Like it helped them thrive. But now, since our wing backs are so poor, which we can move on to next. So poor at the moment. Our great sides, if you guys recall, like over the past 10 plus years, like we always had very, very good, wing backs. Whether it be Marcelo, whether it be Carvajal at its prime, in his prime, whether it is Arbeloa who could do a job, Fabio Coentrao who could do a job. Uh, Now it seems like we are in dire straits for a position that we used to boss at. Farooq, I want to come to you. Like we always knew Mendy wasn't the guy going forward, but in my opinion, at least he does his defensive bits better than Danny. At least on the other hand, Danny doesn't contribute much going forward anyway at this moment.
So that's the thing, right? So Danny Carvajal, on his day, he remains one of the best fullbacks in the game, actually. But the question now becomes, when is that day? So this is the question now. When is that day? The point is, we remember, how much, I also personally going into the final,
Yeah.
with Luis Diaz. I was really scared about that because Luis Diaz was most likely the most informed winger in Europe at that time. And Carval literally pocketed him. He showed to us that, okay, this is what he's capable of. Any winger on their day meets Carval on his day, he should be scared of Carval, not the vice versa.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the thing. But the point is, age has gone, and similarly, Carval's competition is Odriozola. And even before Odriozola plays, Militao plays. Even forget the Lord, man. The Lord can be, something else. Militao plays before Odriozola plays, man. I'm even sure a time will come where Rudiger will play before Odriozola. I think even Rudiger did, right? Rudiger did, if I'm not mistaken, as well. These guys all play before Odriozola plays. And that brings about a certain, kind of a lax attitude. I'm just going to bring...
Complacency is the word. Complacency.
I'm going to bring a case in point to you, which you actually rightly pointed out. I personally, based on how I understood the game, was that Marcelo was able to actually become what Marcelo become because he had competition from Fabio Contrao, who was a bona fide superstar in his own right. You know, even I could recall, like Carvajal came back, he pushed Arbeloa also, and there was that stiff competition there. And Carvajal also came to the fore because of this, because you're competing with people who are like internationals, people who are like superstars in their own very
We
right.
also forget, Danilo was a meme, but he could do a job, and he gave ample competition to Dan.
I mean, Danilo is captain Juve right now, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, we always had that, that, as you rightly pointed out, like the fullback was always a fortress for us, the fullback position, be it the left or the right, But right now, it's just all about the fact that we're stuck in a cycle where it's just either Carvajal or Carvajal.
Yeah. It's a graveyard.
So, and honestly, like, one thing also we also know is that Carvajal has never been the most, durable player. We've seen he missed 2 Champions League finals and what is. But one thing we've always known is that if he comes on the field, he gives you all he can. But honestly, for the past 2.5 years, he got so complacent, to borrow your words tonight. It's been a lot of complacency in that regard, honestly. And I think that's one of the. I mean, we could see what happened with Balde, man. I mean, it was just. I'm not a footballer. I don't play football. But I mean, it was. I was at the point where I'm thinking, like, man, just give me a free contract, man. I'm gonna play, and at least I will bring. Worst case scenario, I will get the red card, but I'm going with Balde, man. I will break his leg, and I will also, end my career there. I mean, that's just the thing, man. I don't honestly. It's just
me as well. Like, while like people who have been watching us long enough, and the guys on the panel know that like I'm not the tactics guy. Like, I just watch the game and go by what I see. Eye test is everything for me. Like, I don't delve into like who is taking up what positions or who is covering for who. I expect the players to execute, the game plan to win the game. That's it. Like, I don't like bang the drum of, we tactically outclassed like X manager, X team, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. When you see this crest on my chest, it means that's it. There is no ifs or buts. We just need to get the job done and win. And that has been Carlos' saving grace. We all know he's not the greatest tinker with tactics and whatnot. But we have to we'll get to Carlo, but we have to place the blame on him as well for just not relying on at least the youth that we have. But it's a topic that we would cover soon enough. But anything else to add, Jacob, regarding the defense? In my opinion, Rudiger has been, I don't know, a shadow of himself post the World Cup. Before the World Cup, he had some bright moments, but after that, I don't know what's going on. Like Vishal, our tactical expert, like he said, like he struggles to bring the ball out from the defense and whatnot. He also mentions that it probably might be because that we don't have Chouameni. But Rudiger is such a veteran. Like he's 29 years old, a Champions League winner, like bags of experience. Like, yes, he has had his criticisms when playing in a back four, but I don't understand like how you can be so inept. Jacob, do you mind breaking us down the CB situation? Alaba has been struggling with injuries. Militao and Rudiger is never going to work out. I always knew. See, I'm not the tactics guy. I'm not the tactics guy. But as a layman, I knew that 2 aggressive centre backs are not going to work. They're going to be way out of positions, chasing meaningless cases, lost causes, basically. Chasing lost causes, that's the word. These 2 guys have the tendency to chase lost causes to just put pressure, on the attacker instead of keeping shape. Alaba was the guy, or Nacho was the guy who was kind of, like a little more conservative, a little more laid back, let the play develop and, wait for the chance to pounce. What is your take, Jacob?
So with your point, there's so many things to break down with Rudiger, yeah. When we signed him on, he was a veteran German player. He was a veteran Chelsea player as well, and he was renowned for his bringing the ball out wide. He could even
playability in a back 3. in a back three.
In a back three, yes. We know he has good passing range. We know he can bring the ball out with his dribbling, but he hasn't been able to do that confidently at least so far in his Real Madrid career. That is one thing that Alaba can excel at. And as for his aggressiveness, like I feel like we get two versions of Rudiger every time. Either we see him like chase for lost causes, like you said, or he's
Yeah.
like so timid and he just lets the attacker come at him and then makes the goes for the last ditch tackle right before the attacker takes a shot. So I feel like he needs to find a common ground and work it out with Militao as well, because both of these guys can't be doing like opposite things and they're also out of sync, especially as we saw in the Villarreal games and in the Clásico.
Yeah, it is.
I,
It is
I
exhausting
I
talking
don't
about.
really see a way out of this because Militao is going to be Militao. Like he does his job well. Like if he is paired with a decent partner, like we know we'll get the best version out of him. With Rudiger, I'm not sure anymore. He hasn't.
I'm just flabbergasted to see the script flip, because when we signed him, we ourselves had our reservations about him playing in the back four. I was a huge fan of Rudiger for his aggressiveness, like you mentioned, for his leadership qualities, like being vocal and whatnot. People on the panel used to argue that positionally he can't be a leader because he's very erratic at times, which I clearly see now. The evidence is in 4K for everyone to see, but yeah, like you pointed out, Rudiger needs to step it up. This is not the bridge. You can't jump off it and close the chapter. It is the biggest club in the world. It is the most prestigious club in the world. Like, we compete for everything. Like, a loss is no ordinary loss when you're wearing the white shirt.
And Sinead, like one more thing, like one more like important reason that we signed Rudiger was to shore up our like offense in the corners and free kicks.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if you notice, like so far, like I feel like Rudiger has taken like the worst headers that you could see, like expect from any kind of defender. Like he hasn't put them on
Yes.
target, like
Yeah.
I've even seen like one of his headers go out for a throw in rather than a goal kick.
The only good header I remember is when he put his head on the line, literally on the line against Leipzig, right? In the Champions League. But yeah, I've always said that, we used to get so many goals from set pieces. Like, it has gone down. I mean, come on, Cruz has been taking one of the worst. I repeat, one of the worst corner kicks I've seen. Real Madrid players take, and nobody bats an eye. He still gets to take the next corner. I don't understand, like, why we are not utilizing maybe someone else to take corners. I just don't understand. Anyway, the defense situation needs to be sorted out ASAP. 3 clean sheets entire season. It's a joke. Absolute joke.
My question this though is, I just want to, retouch on the points that Jacob was making is this. Honestly, like, I know this. I've always known this, that Rudiger and Militao cannot play together. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Why is Nacho not playing with Rudiger or Nacho not playing with Militao? Why? I mean, we saw this in the Champions League last season. Alaba was out. It was Nacho and Militao, and it was a fantastic combo.
Nacho, so good. So good. So good.
Why? Really, why? I mean, it's so simple, but I don't know why this coach is like, I mean, it's the same thing. Oh, I'm just going to deviate here, but it's the same thing with Antonio Conte, man. The man just comes and complicates everything. You chill. Calm down. We know you're a genius. No one is denying that. Yeah, we agree with that. But just do things basic, man. Just simple things, man. Make life simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. Honestly, it doesn't have to be, man. Sunaid, I swear to you, man, for the first time in my life, I was watching a Real Madrid game and I slept off. I swear, man.
Wait, was this the Clásico?
No, it wasn't the Clásico, man. It was a 1-0 victory against it was after the World Cup.
Valladolid, 2-0.
It was 2-0, right?
Yeah.
Against like the Fresneda guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exactly against Ivan Fresneda, the match against those guys. I slept off. I swear to me, I slept off. Man, I don't know, man. Honestly,
Long days, long days. Like the defense situation is just a sorry sight. Like we need to sort this out. Rafa Marin is available in the academy. Nobody gives a fuck. I don't understand. Vinicius Tobias is there. Nobody gives a fuck.
okay, don't deviate, man. Let's just keep moving. We will get it when we go towards the end.
The attack. We have scored a lot of goals. Jacob was telling me. It is not entirely, it is not like the majority of the blame can't be rested on the attack because the attack has been delivering on some level. But in my opinion, it's nowhere near cohesive, nowhere near as like instinctive like it used to be. People can point fingers at Karim Benzema, who has dropped off. We knew this drop off was coming. We knew this drop off was coming even before we won the Champions League and the La Liga double. I used to say Mbappe and Haaland both should be of prime importance because like we are trying to get back to the very top. We did get back to the very top last season, but it was just through an anomaly. A season which was an anomaly in which Farouk said before we came on to do the episode that Benzema was having one of a kind season, which can't be replicated. Like he himself knows. He knows his body can't do the same shit he did last season. So we should have addressed this in the summer. If we don't address this, if we couldn't address that in the summer, I would expect the board to at least look at a stopgap option. Fucking United signed Odion Igalo. Like, I don't want Igalo. Like someone like Dzeko, someone who can be the target man. Like give Benzema like at least 30 minutes rest, man. 30 fucking minutes. He's 35 years old. Like, you got to show these guys some mercy. Like, they have been run to the ground. Rodrigo, huge fan of him. I have no idea why this tactical twist in him being the second striker has been implemented, like so much this season. Like, I don't know. Like, I see clear qualities that like might help Rodrigo excel in that position. Like he has good awareness. Like can link up with his teammates well. Has good finishing ability. But in my opinion, he should be put out wide. He should be the wide man workhorse who doesn't left the opposition left back to get out. He should be on him. That's what helped us so much. If you notice the City game in which we made the comeback, everybody talks about Rodrigo's goals. But it's his fucking work rate that led to those goals. It is his pressure that he put on. I don't remember who their left back was now. Was it João Cancelo? I don't remember. But it is his relentlessness that helped us, like turn the tide. People are forgetting the basics, like what Farouk said. That's what I feel. Jacob and Farouk, the floor is yours. The attack.
Well, actually, so see, the thing is this, right? We got stuck. Even I myself, like I totally, I also, want, to see Eden Hazard eventually, succeed and do something what is not.
Let's not waste time talking about Hazard.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to bring the whole maths why we got to this position. So, which you made a very valid point. Like, why isn't there a sub striker for Benzema at a team like Real Madrid? It's impossible. How can Mariano be the only substitute striker you have in
United went and bought in Weghorst. Like, we could have done with the Weghorst.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I don't know how Carlo Ancelotti got. I mean, as a fan, I have the right to get suckered into fantasy dreams, right? But I mean, coach with Carlo's experience and genius shouldn't be on my level, man. That's it. It shouldn't be thinking that Hazard can be the almighty force 9 that we are looking for. I mean, barring the game against Celtic, and it's 14 Celtic.
Fucking Celtic.
What has Hazard done? Nothing. And I'm saying that's why
let's not waste time about Hazard.
We sat down, they sat down rather in the summer and decided that Rodrigo can play false 9, Hazard can play false 9. Because of this, we're gonna go small ball, have Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Asensio play together, and this is gonna be fantastic. I mean, even the reason why Pep was able to do this was because he has a player named Messi, man.
Yeah.
This is the only reason why he was able to play small ball, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take rocket
I don't
science,
know.
I've been saying. These are very simple and basic things, man. Just
I
go
don't know.
get your fucking Weghorst, Igalo, Dzeko, whoever it is. It's not working. Throw him on. Benzema drops in as a plays as a two striker. Benzema is a very smart player that he can play with the second striker. Very, very smart player. Easily he will mesh with the second striker, and just, do your thing. But right now, we don't have a plan B, man. It goes from Rodrigo to Asensio, and then it's Camavinga. I mean, if Kerr is not even taken tonight, like, we're gonna destroy Camavinga's career in the sense that he's gonna end up as just an impact sub throughout his career. That's the only thing he will offer us. Because when he comes in, he brings a different dimension. A dimension that at least till now we haven't been able to see him bring for that 90-minute span. So that's the thing, like,
very young, Farouk, very young, and we should give him time. He's a rash player. Camavinga is the least of our issue. Like he has helped us to the maximum.
I mean, Sumit, the point is, it's not about him being an issue. Like, what I'm just saying is that if Kerr is not being taken, we could actually even destroy his career as well. That's the point I'm trying to make to you here.
I don't think we're going to destroy his career.
Oh, I mean, only time will tell, because that's the thing, man. We've seen a lot of things, but just the point is, like,
even if he remains
gamble on the wrong
even
people,
if he remains an impact substitute, like, he's gonna contribute a lot. He's a real game changer when opposition players are tired.
Yeah, but I mean, no player wants to remain a game changer for their whole life, man. Like, that's the thing. Everyone wants to go and become a starter.
Terito made a living out of it. Like, it's not a bad position to be.
That's a whole discussion for another time. Like, the thing is, obviously, like, Camavinga is a list of the problems right now at Real Madrid. Obviously, like, I mean, the attack, or in my opinion.
But tell me about the attack. Tell me about the attack. Is Vinicius rightfully, being, pointed some blame at, because his productivity has gone down a cliff. He doesn't look like he has his head on his shoulders, because he runs into spaces which are not there, tries to take on too many people all at the same time. Also, it might be due to the lack of attacking prowess that Mendy has. But don't you think Vinicius has been like below par post the World Cup?
Definitely, I definitely think that something has changed for Vinicius, and that's the thing, that right now a lot of teams have tried to figure out the fact that Vinicius needs that space to exploit. Because one thing is that Vinicius is a very fast dribbler. He dribbles past one person, and there's a ton of space for him to exploit. But now he's not just being double teamed; he's now being triple teamed. So that now becomes that what happens is that even if you're able to evade one, the second and the third are there. They close down the space, and it's literally almost impossible, to get out of that. But what usually used to happen also in the past is that when we watch games in the past as well, we always had, that midfield presence also. Yeah. I feel like, rather than it being Mendy, I feel like that midfield presence of Toni Kroos, or some even at the other times Luka Modric, were always there, to offer an avenue out for Vinicius.
That's one of the most shocking things that I noticed, like the El Clasico.
Now there is no avenue. It's just Vini in a crowd of one. I mean, actually, I saw a screenshot of the Clasico game, and like, it was Vini, and like, there were like 4 red shirts all around him, and like, you can't even see a white shirt in the vicinity. What do you expect to happen? The man is not fucking Maradona, man.
Yeah, that's another point I was coming to. Like, while I was watching the Clasico, although I turned off after the third goal, when they scored a third goal, like, I switched off the stream. But all throughout that, like, maybe 60 odd minutes or something, I saw just one run from Modric, and after that he was gone. Like, he couldn't barely like catch his breath. He made one run from the midfield onto the left flank, left wide channel, to offer an overlap. But that's the only instance. Like, this is what I was always banging on about. Like, like, these guys don't have legs, because we need runners from the midfield. Remember, Farouk? Like, I used to get more.
Actually, the thing is, very honestly, like, right now there's a lot of issues, that goes on at the team. But one thing also that we also have to let's not be so quick and rash to, just make judgments and say what is and what is not. Because the point is, the only reason why last season happened with Vinicius and Mendy was that Mendy was doing for Vini a lot of defensive duties. He was covering for Vini a lot. That's one of the things. So, for me, really, honestly, I don't have a lot of qualms about Mendy. Honestly, I just feel like we need someone to compete with him. My major problem will be with the whole Dani Carvajal side. But I feel like, let's not also be too quick to judge, because right now we are in a slump that is so typical Real Madrid slump. As you said, honestly, December, January, it's always garbage from us. We've seen this over and over again. You understand? So maybe it picks up, maybe it doesn't pick up, because in my opinion, this claims that this, tactical flaws that have been highlighted, these are something that have been there always and always. These are something that, it's always been a Carlo Ancelotti thing. That's why I've always said, in my opinion, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti is a manager that will, lead the new generation into something, because I feel like the way of football has changed to what he does. Because Carlo Ancelotti is a man who provides an environment for the players to thrive. Okay, obviously, I'm not taking away his tactical nous or anything. Obviously, for sure, the man wouldn't win all what you want by just saying, "Oh yeah, you can do it." Definitely not. He is, instilling some tactical nous into the team as well. But there should be a sense of rigidity, a sense of complexity related to the way you play the game, which is something that doesn't exist right now. What we do right now is just hero ball. It's just hero ball. Fede Valverde scores from 30 yards. Benzema scores a hat-trick for 3 straight games. How is that even possible? I don't even know. Vinicius comes out of nowhere and does what he does. I mean, that's the thing. We've just been playing hero ball. Individual brilliance. Okay.
Individual brilliance FC was the theme last season. The double mastered all. It clouded even our eyes, even your eyes, Farooq, to an extent. Even you weren't pleased with the final win. So you weren't much, fooled. You weren't fooled that much, if I recall. But Jacob, left-hand side is a shambles. What about the right-hand side? What can we do on the right-hand side? There are options. There is Rodrigo. There's Asensio. Asensio, I think, has had some redeeming qualities this season, when given the chance. Not every time, but sometimes.
Sometimes,
Valverde,
Farooq, Sunit, whenever I see recent Real Madrid games, I forget that there's a right-hand side because
always been the case.
There's pretty much nothing going on. Carvajal is not putting up a cross. Valverde is not making that byline run that he usually does, because nobody's there to support and give him the ball at that position. And Valverde hasn't been able to tuck in and cut in and shoot from his left foot after that initial set of games. I guess it is because he's too busy covering Carvajal. And whenever Rodrigo and Asensio come on, Asensio, when he comes on, he has a decent shift. Surprisingly this season, he puts in.
He's fighting for either a move away or a contract.
Exactly, you can see there's something motivating him, and then he's doing pretty good. But with Rodrigo, I feel like he has received specific instructions to move over to the left and link up with Benzema and Vinicius, just to create that extra bit of space for Vini. Because Mendy is not going to provide that space. Mendy is not going to hug the touchline. So it's up to Rodrigo to abandon his right side where he's supposed to be attacking and support Benzema and Vinicius. And that so far hasn't really worked out, because it's much more easier.
It looks very sexy on the eye. I think that's what people think it is.
Yeah, but it's so easy to defend. Exactly.
Very, very easy to defend. Very easy to defend. All the combinations, they just run into their own spaces. That's what happens. The right situation we can't even discuss because it's fucking non-existent. I don't know what to discuss the right-hand side. This is Comedy Central FC at the moment. But Benzema, man, where do I begin? Benzema for me has given me so much. I just can't speak bad about him. We always knew this slump was coming. We always knew that he's gonna be so knackered that he's gonna start getting niggling injuries, which is not gonna make him be 100% fit. And Benzema is not your typical centre forward who relies on just instinct to score goals. Benzema is an orchestrator. Like, he needs his body to be at optimum levels to, like drop deep, pick up the ball, like straight wide, combine with people. It's like we haven't seen that sparkling Benzema, like feat that often this season. It's not a surprise. He, like, if you guys notice, like, he has gained like a little bit of weight. He looks a little more chubbier. I know it was a big year for him. Like, obviously winning the Ballon d'Or and whatnot is bound to make you a little laid back. If I was in his position, like, I know how I would be. He is the captain. He knows he has the responsibility to lead by example and whatnot. But like we discussed on so many other positions in this episode, like, the lack of competition is just pure nonsense. There should be at least a fucking decoy. Like, put a scarecrow on the bench. Probably it might make him feel, oh, okay, there's someone behind me. But at this moment in time, Mariano Diaz is supposed to be the guy who's gonna be deputizing for, Karim Benzema. Like, it was always gonna be downhill if Benzema doesn't perform. And I can't seem to wrap my head around why. Like, it is not a, it is this is what gets to me. Yeah. For the board to sit around and, like, juggle finances, look at, how are we on return on investment, blah blah blah, at the end of the fiscal year and all that shit. It is not even a specialist position. It is not a specialist position like a goalkeeper or a CDM. It is a fucking target man. It is an alternative to the kind of link up forward we have in Benzema, and bring in someone who is an out and out number 9.
Yep.
It is a fucking straightforward thing. Like, you don't need to download like Football Manager and like scout shit. At least do what Chelsea is doing. Look at other clubs, what they're doing, and at least go by that. It's
Sunil,
very
it's like
straightforward business that we are holding back on.
I think the reason that we haven't signed like a pure number 9 or like someone to take over Benzema when we need is purely because Carlos says, hey, I just don't need another striker. Because like you have to remember, we also signed fucking Endrick for 45 plus million. And then instead of spending like 5 to 10 million on maybe or someone loan just to get to just to give Benzema some rest, like that is just not a priority. Like the immediate season is just not a priority for this board.
It is just wishful thinking at its finest. They just think, oh, you know what, probably when the Champions League anthem is blaring, these guys flick their switch and suddenly turn up how they did last season. That's what they're banking on, and probably go big in the summer. But anything that's going to happen between now and the end of May is up in the air, basically. And if it goes wrong, let's hope it doesn't. If it goes wrong, all these goodwill that these incredible set of players have built up all over these years would be forgotten. I'm telling you, our fan base, any fan base in the world, it's their minds are fickle. Like, if you crash out like before the semi-finals, nobody's going to escape any blame. There'll be nowhere to hide for all these players, like, irrespective of what they've achieved just 12 months ago, they will have no place to hide. And when we talk about no place to hide, we got to move on to Carlo, which is our final point. I told you guys, 20 minutes is not enough to cover what we are going through. We are 40 minutes into the episode. Let's just wrap it up quickly. Carlo, guys, let's start with the forever critic. That's what I'm gonna call him. The forever critic of Don Carlo Farouk. Like, do you think again there can be some redemption in Carlo's season?
Definitely. I actually count on it. That's the thing. Like, this is what is so, that's why, like, Carlo Ancelotti is so, like, a match for Real Madrid. Like, it's a team that, I don't know, at least since I've been watching Real Madrid, I can't, other than the there was one season with Mourinho and one season with Zidane where I could, beat my chest that we could win, 50 games. Like, I mean, any game we could win it. Like, we would literally almost not have any off. But other than that, like, Real Madrid is a team that plays as if, like, we have such a, arrogance with us that we play whenever we want to play. So I think it's very similar to Carlo Ancelotti's style of football as well. We saw last year how the Champions League was won, when what is and what is not. So I actually feel like there's going to be most likely an ending to this. Okay, what's it going to be? I don't know. You understand? Does he win the Champions League again? Does he get to the semi-final? I don't know, like what's going to happen or like thereof. But I do genuinely feel like Carlo will still get something somewhere. But that's the thing, like he might still win or like still end up the season good. And people are still gonna, say, okay, yeah, let's continue with Carlo. And then next year we'll come to the same November, December, it's the same thing. So that's the thing. Like honestly, like that's why like I know, although like I'm really bored right now and I'm just watching garbage, but I really am not bothered because like this is something I have just come to expect of Carlo Ancelotti. And I just want to, raise some points that you guys raised right now. For example, Sonny talk about buying a midfielder. Do you think you're gonna buy a midfielder and Carlo Ancelotti will just say, "Oh no, I'm not playing Modric. I'm gonna play this player I bought." I mean, we all know this. We've seen Carlo, be it his Milan team, be it his Chelsea team, be it even at Napoli, man. It's for his first time at Real Madrid. He has a 16, 17, 18 man, I mean, maximum 19 players who he plays till they die. This is just it. So, like, when that's why I told you guys earlier, like, I just go and
90 is a stretch. You're being generous.
I mean,
No
that's
way.
why I just when I go and I read on the, be it the Athletic or Goal or BR, and this guy's just like, oh, Carlo has just this amount of players. Oh no, Carlos sold he's a midfielder short. I'm like, did this guy start watching football yesterday or what? I mean, I didn't even watch Carlos Milan that much, but I know this. Like, I've seen his Chelsea team, I've seen his Real Madrid team, I've seen his Napoli team. He has just 14, 15, 16 players who he plays with till they die. He doesn't change anything. So the fact that, bringing in a midfielder or bringing in this and that, I mean, the point is there are defenders there. And the reason why actually I remember the name of Ivan Fresneda is that because the guy was so good that I still remember him right now. And I don't even know the team that we played, but I know we played against this guy. Okay, like, is he better than what we have? Maybe not, but he has an opportunity to challenge this. But the point is, this is the way Carlo operates, And unfortunately, like, I don't know, but this is just not the way anymore. This is just not the way anymore. People are going to get injured. People are going to get this. You need to have someone that's going to be there. And my most important critique of Carlo has always been, there is no style of play. And I remember very much, I once said this on this show, and it was a big argument. Oh, we have a style of play. We have a style of play. Someone please tell me, what's the complex rigid system that we have? We have nothing. We have nothing. We literally just play hero ball, and hero ball. Obviously, like playing hero ball, watching Benzema does what he does, or Vini or Luka or Toni Kroos, it's so fucking, exciting. So, like, I mean, we can overlook that, fine and good, but when shit hits the fan, people should not come back and be, oh no, we don't have a tactics, we don't have a system. No, this is how it's always been. This is how we've won the teams we won last year. So that's just the thing. Like, as I said, like, if Carlo wins, I wouldn't be surprised because this is the man. This is what he does literally.
I just hope he does. I just hope he does. For me, like, I always agreed with your points. Like, even when we won the Champions League, yes, I would dispute that. Like, he had some. He obviously, like, we can't like completely write off he doesn't have any tactical now. Like, obviously he had a game plan against City, against Liverpool, against Chelsea. Like, he had a clear game plan to maximize what we can do with what we have, right? Which he excelled at. But this season, although I'm fucking pissed with the current state of affairs, like, I'm gonna cut him some slack because of the World Cup. We can't deny the fact that the World Cup has taken a toll on not every player, but some of the major players. At the World Cup, the Club World Cup, and the fucking Spanish Super Cup, which was, a shambles again, to the mix, like, I can't see how he gets so much blame. Apart from the obvious fact that he doesn't trust many players. He doesn't trust the academy. He doesn't trust the youth as much. But again, like Farooq said, like, it has been his MO his modus operandi to not trust young talent. So I'm gonna cut him some slack because of the fucking like jammy schedule. There isn't much he can do. Like reportedly, he asked for a fullback and a DM, a midfielder or something, if I'm not mistaken. And the board rejected it. We all knew that winter transfers are not something that like. What was the last winter transfer we did? Was it Adebayo in 2011? Was Adebayo signed for 6 months or was he signed for a year? I don't recall, but it's very, very rare. I remember Essien was signed for a season-long contract, so it was a year-long.
Season-long, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, like winter transfer, we don't dip our feet into the winter transfer market. Like we always knew that. So Carlo, like you should have told these guys, yeah, like Mbappe is out of the picture, Haaland is out of the picture. Like get someone low profile who's not going to create a ruckus and help the team out. One midfielder under 10 million, one forward under 10 million. That's it. And rely on wing backs from the academy, probably Miguel, who's moved on, or someone like Vinicius Tobias. That would have made us feel much more secure about our thoughts about the squad. But
yeah,
at least he included Vinicius Tobias for the fixture tomorrow. Mario Martin, very promising, defensive midfielder. He's in the squad list as well. But I don't see him giving them like more than like 15 minutes. I don't see that happening against.
And that is only if we are winning. If we are losing, there's no chance they're coming in.
Yeah, that is gonna be. I hope that doesn't I just hope that doesn't become the news that thanks Carlo, because I love the man so much. Like even though Zidane is iconic, like for me Zidane is an emotion. What Carlo gave me, the Decima, irreplaceable. I don't think any man can stand on the same pedestal as Carlo for me, at least in my lifetime, right? But I don't want to see the reason that he doesn't trust like at least some of the younger players to do a job against fourth tier sides. Fourth tier sides in a Copa del Rey, which historically we have never cared really about. I hope that doesn't become the case whereby he gets he gets sacked and whatnot. But yeah, anything else to add, Jacob, on Carlo?
I mean, Carlo is not getting sacked, man. Not this season.
I hope not.
I mean, man is still second in the league. He's still in the round of 16. So I mean, even if he loses to Liverpool, like they're gonna say, yeah, oh, it's Liverpool. It's a European giant. So it's not.
Let's not say shit like that. Oh my God.
Carlo's not getting sacked, man. So I mean, just wake up from if you have such a weird dream, or I don't know, just wake up from that. Carlo's there till the end of the season, man. Nothing's gonna happen about that.
Yeah, I think he's gonna like. For me, even though he like you're not a fan of him, most guys are not fan of like the very slight tactical approach that he has. I genuinely would love for him to stay, another season, especially if we win some sort of silverware, the big silverware, this season. I would love for him to stay. I don't see any other manager that's gonna do a job that. We all know the Real Madrid job is not your average job. Just tactical nous is not going to cut it at the Bernabeu. So Carlo and us, it's a perfect marriage. Although at the moment it doesn't seem like it's going too well. I see some hope. Like hopefully, like we all believe, the Champions League can bring some of that mojo back. I don't give a shit about the fucking Super Copa. Like those can party, away their entire year, winning that trophy. Like I don't care. But yeah, man, that's pretty much sums it up for me. What has been going on? Like it wasn't easy to watch the Clásico. If you guys recall, like my reaction, I said it's disgusting. That's what I thought. Disgusting to watch. But given it a few days, I'm much more calmer and level-headed. I think that like there is still ample time to fix up. Like even though we are not going to be active in the transfer market, I think we can turn this around. We have been in worse situations before and have come back from literally the dead. So I think we can still do something. That begins tomorrow. That begins tomorrow. Is it away? It's away, right? It's away at
Ceramica. Yeah, it's a Ceramica.
It starts there. We lost to Villarreal. So it's time to set the record straight and begin on a good note. I hope this is the reset. I genuinely hope this is a reset because in less than a month's time, we go to Dubai. I think is it for the club? No, Morocco for the Club World Cup, and then we have to come back and go to Anfield. So there's absolutely no respite. It's gonna be back to back to back to back to back all the way throughout. Is there even any international breaks until April, May? I don't think so.
No, I think there's one in March. There's one in March.
In March?
Yeah.
I don't think it's more than 2 weeks anyway. So there you go. It's just full throttle, pedal to the metal action from now on. So I just hope we can hold it together. Any final thoughts you guys might want to add?
I don't know. Like you said, like I hope the switch gets turned on tomorrow. But I feel like because we are missing like a lot of players, Madrid shouldn't be upset so too much if it doesn't happen immediately. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna like turn it around this month.
We got to. There's no other way. This can't go on for much longer. Farooq.
Yeah, man, just let the Champions League return, man, because I think that's the one thing that motivates these people more.
I hope that music, that anthem.
I don't know, man. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Honestly, that's the only thing I'm just. At least I hope, because as you said, new players aren't coming. At least let's do what we know how to do best, which is play the Champions League football, man. At least maybe that's wakes something.
Also, big exclusion from tomorrow's game. Jacob reminded us before we came on to record the pod. Lunin is out, and apparently he didn't know that he was being replaced by Thibaut for tomorrow's game. Thoughts on that? Like, isn't it like very harsh?
I mean, that's typical Carlo, no? I mean, that's what he does, man. As I said earlier, he just has a group of players who he does his teams with, and he just forgets about every other person, and it's really harsh in my opinion as well. But it is what it is. What you say.
Yeah, like if you really deep it, if Carlo was here and Cristiano left, and it was instead of Santiago Solari, it was Carlo, do you think Vinicius is getting the amount of minutes he got? No chance. No chance. So yeah, like.
But then I mean, Vini was an expensive purchase, so I assume that Vini would have gotten that, similar to the way the guy was gonna get it. Like
he would have gotten minutes, but I don't think he will be trusted as much. No, I don't think so.
That's another whole thing.
Hazard was a 100 million purchase. He was trusted for a bit, but after that, irrespective of his price tag, his reputation, he was brushed aside.
Because the point is, like, let's not forget, like, this is the coach who brought in the likes of Alex Pato, Ricardo Kaka, and so on and so forth. So like he's shown that he's like, if you have the big, I don't know what they call it, if gamble big on the player, he's willing to get them into the team. So there is that as well. It's just that once he has his team, it's difficult for you to bring someone new into it. That's the only problem there.
Well, yeah, I hope we get the job done. Nacho is gonna play right back tomorrow, as per what I think the reports are. Benzema is gonna play for sure. Vinny's gonna start. I'm not sure about Vinny. Modric is out. Chouameni is out, right? Alaba is out. Kroos is gonna play, I guess. Kroos, Fede, Modric. I don't know.
Modric is out as well, so it's gonna be Camavinga.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Modric is rested. Sorry, Camavinga. I just hope it clicks into gear, man. These guys needs like a blatant lift. Like they need like a springboard for like to get back into playing um, good stuff. Like when you look at the players, they don't look happy. They don't look like they're enjoying themselves. Like this needs to change like ASAP. Like they need that spark need to come back. Like I don't know how else to put it. That spark is missing. Like we need to regain that. And tomorrow is the best way to start. I believe if there's nothing else, I think we should wrap it up. Um, yeah. Before we go, like these are what we think. Like what we think has gone wrong. Like you may agree with it, might not agree with it. If you have something to add to what we said, if you have something against what we think is happening, post your thoughts in the comments below. Because it is for you guys we do this, right? So we always love to have a back and forth with our listeners. Like be
Definitely.
it on be it on Spotify, be it on YouTube. So like if you guys have any grievances or anything to add to what we think is unfolding before our very eyes, like feel free to like like post it in the comment section, and also reach out to us on on Instagram, on Twitter, and whatnot. And yeah, if you like the content, smash the like, and don't forget to subscribe, because like we have stuff coming up like all throughout the year. Like it's gonna be a jam-packed mid calendar for us, definitely, with the trip to Anfield, the big one next month. Yeah, before we go, check out Real Madrid Committee, our partners on Instagram. They run a brilliant, very dedicated Real Madrid fan page. Go check them out. And yeah, like fingers crossed for tomorrow. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.